freedom, honesty. It's equal and really healthy. An anxious, ambivalent type of attachment with somebody would be low avoidance but high anxiety. So this person's kind of preoccupied with, the fantasy of what love looks like on movies and television. They can be clingy, have mood swings, and it's a higher anxiety. It's you're scared the person's gonna leave. Which brings us into the next one, being fearfully avoidant. So that's a negative view on both yourself and the significant other that you're with. So usually distant relationships, you don't feel worthy, you don't trust others, and so you have a fear of rejection. So that's going to be a high anxiety, high avoidance. And then the dismissive. Dismissive is high avoidance and low anxiety. So it's usually characterized by like a negative view of others, but you have a positive view of yourself. So you might have a hard time having any close relationships with anybody. So there's a lot of different ways you can be attached to somebody and multiple different ways to fall in love. So as you can see, that's why there's no clear-cut definition. It's different for absolutely everybody. So one of the most important things to understand and know when it comes to love as well is the chemical side of it. So there are actually many different hormones and neurotransmitters that get released when you're in love with somebody, almost like street drugs. They give you a feeling of being high, and that's why people claim to be high on life, or they get these tingly feelings when they're in love with somebody, because there are chemicals and hormones that are released when you fall in love. And for men and women, they're similar. They can be released in different amounts, differently. But touch is one of the main ways that like oxytocin is released. That's what they call the cuddle hormone. So it's kind of like Cupid's arrow was dipped in oxytocin, and so that's when you get that personal or physical attraction with somebody, those chemicals can be released. If you have certain smells of somebody that you love, that can be released as well. And it's based on anything that attracts you to that person. So women have to be careful, because when they are on birth controls or certain contraceptives, their sense will actually change, so they won't be able to properly dictate whether or not they're actually attracted to their mate. So it's actually suggested that if you do think you're going to be with your forever person, that you stop taking contraceptives for a while and see if you start to not like your mate before you get married to them, because that can happen and that could be a big problem, especially if you've got kids on the way. So my questions for you, excuse me, are does being in love release neurotransmitters, hormones? So obviously you're not here to answer me, so I'm just gonna think you're gonna say yes. Let's see if you're right. Yes. Oh, good job. Okay, next one. All right, let's see how many out of 5 you can get. Which is the most healthy type of love? This one's a little tricky. So take your time. Okay. You think the altruistic one is? That's a good choice. Why did the muscles give it away? Let's see if you're right. You are right again, 2 for 2. All right, let's see. We're getting close here. Let's see if you can get the third one. Well, let's give you a tricky one. Is eye rolling effective form of communication? So if you're talking to me and I go like that, does that make you feel like I'm listening to you? I may have done it in class a couple times, but I don't think you noticed. Let's see. Heck no! It's not an effective form of communication. Good job. What is the cuddle hormone called? See if you paid attention. Oxytocin. You're correct. 4 for 4. You are good. Now, last but not least, this is one of the most important questions. And I hope that you, in this short amount of time, were able to figure out which kind of lover you might be, or at least which one would be the most healthy. So, what type of love, knowing these types of loves, what does love mean to you? And what it means to me, since you can't answer, I'll tell you what it means to me. I'll answer the question for you. So you didn't get all 5 right, but I said it's something that's strong, passionate, forgiving, and it stands the test of time. So that's my poster, and have a good day.